DuckTales was a game unlike any other. Yes, it did have the standard ingredients for a typical platformer of its time, but what made it truly unique was Scrooge's mode of attack was bouncing on enemies with his cane. Genius! The game was released in 1989 on NES and then Game Boy the following year, spawned a sequel in '93, and then in 2013, a remake. This game franchise was truly side-scrolling action at its finest. These are the games that everyone thinks of when it comes to DuckTales. But wait, what about the other game? The PC one from 1990. Yes, this is the forgotten DuckTales game. But is it any good? Well, let's dive in and find out. The story is, Scrooge's rival, Flintheart Glomgold, is fed up with being the second richest duck in the world. You know, your typical first world problems, and challenges Scrooge to a contest to see who can collect the most money in 30 days. And to make that money, you play through a small assortment of mini-games. You begin in Scrooge's office. You can start playing the game by going to the map, or you can check out his money bin and enjoy this little animation of him going for a swim. And then Fenton will come along and tell you to get your butt in gear and start playing. So let's get on with the game then. Each location you see on the map will be one of 4 mini-games, but before you can play them, you have to fly there first. Unlike the other 4 games, you have to do this every time you go to a new place on the map. Sometimes it's very easy and you don't have to fly off the ground, and sometimes there'll be obstacles. Also, occasionally, Glomgold's plane will appear in the level with you, and you have to race him to the finish line. Otherwise, he'll take the gold for himself from that location. Once you figure out the controls, it's quite easy to beat him. But if you play the game in hard mode, it's impossible to beat him. I'm not even exaggerating. I literally have not been able to beat him once. These obstacles are relentless! Ugh! So in one of the minigames, you play as Webby, where you have to take photos of animals you spot in the jungle, but you have to move quickly because they soon disappear from shot. Depending on the species, you get money for each photo you take successfully. This maze game is where you have to navigate through a cave to find the hidden treasure before the mummy gets you. The trick is to try to follow the green dots on the map, because if you don't, you're at risk of falling into a hole that may or may not be there. The map will not tell you. But if you play this in hard mode, the map is useless. Now this game is a good one. What you do is you have to carefully travel through the jungle on tree branches while trying to avoid running into wild animals. I really enjoy this one because it's not too difficult, but it is easy to make mistakes. Also, this bird will sometimes appear at random and knock you into the river, or sometimes just distract you in general and then you just make a mistake. Lastly, the mountain climbing game is probably the most difficult and frustrating of all. Why? Well, some of the time you can just climb up the cliff edges, or just go through a cave. But sometimes you reach a point where you need to use your grappling hook, and what's annoying is how the grappling hook requires you to be 100% accurate when hitting your target. Another issue is Majika the witch sometimes hides in a cave, and if you're within eyeline of it, she'll send you flying off. Jeez. Once the 30 days are up, you'll be taken to the Isle of Macaroon, where your collected money is stored. And then you'll either be declared the winner or the loser. I'll admit that I found this game a bit challenging when I was a kid, but I still really loved it anyway, and I still enjoy it even today. But despite being an adult now, I simply just cannot beat this game in hard mode. Oh, come on!